every job is going to do this soon. It's not just the donut makers. It's not just the drivers or the Amazon warehouse people. Our jobs, like executive roles, are going to be, we're already pitching this and people are already thinking about how do I screen. It's really popular in India right now, and then entry-level positions.
Makes sense.
But it's capable and it does a really good job at our level too. So everybody needs to get comfortable with interviewing with the bot.
Diana, welcome to the GTM Shift. It's great to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
I'm so happy we're doing this because, you and I have known each other for years. And when I was thinking about guests for the interview series, I was like, I got to get Diana on because I know you, one, have so much experience at people leadership. Two, you're in a company that's on the forefront of AI, hiring. And three, you just always have great points of view. And so I'm excited to dive in today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tell us just briefly a little bit about your experience and kind of what got you to where you are today.
Yep. So I started in sales. I was inside sales, meaning I didn't travel, but I opened and closed. I was my own BDR, did everything. Did that for about a year, realized commission, 100% commission wasn't for me. And moved into more of a Salesforce admin role. And that's where I got cut my teeth on software. And then I went into solutions consulting for a company built on Salesforce. And it's just been sky's the limit since then.
I love that. And you had actually told me a fun fact that you're within, correct me if I'm wrong, the first 500 Salesforce admins, is that right?
Yes, first 500 certified Salesforce admins.
Nice. That's a fun fact.
It is, yeah.
And when you were, going from that transition of sales to Salesforce admin, and then obviously working for, a company that sold Salesforce, that seemed to be probably an easy transition into tech and to where you got to today.
Absolutely was. And I wouldn't have done it without Maria Pergolino. I don't know if you know her.
I do.
She was at the same company and she was the CMO and she knew me through the Salesforce user groups. And she said, if being an SC isn't for you, it doesn't work out, I'll hire you. So she gave me confidence. She gave me that safety net.
That's amazing. Maria's great. I feel like everyone's got amazing stories about Maria. Before we get too far in, I understand you're wearing your necklace for a reason today. Is that right?
Yes. So this pendant is really special to me. It's a Maori design. It's a bone carving. And it, to me, represents the safe passage, the journey, and coming back with success. And so I wear it because recently my mentor, Amira Rand, gave me really good advice. She said, what would you do if you knew with 100% certainty you could not fail?
It's a pretty powerful question. How'd you respond to that?
Shoot, now, great question. And now I know what I need to do. And it wasn't the easy thing, right?
Love that. Well, let's talk a little bit more about you and your skills in leadership. One of the things that I know you're so passionate about is, building and developing solutions professionals. So, where did that mindset come from? Was it people who, paved the path before you? Was it your career before you got into solutions? Like, how did that come to be?
I never thought of myself as a nerd or a techie. Even though growing up in tech, I always figured I'd be in film or something like that, creative. And then to see how easily I took to it, it was surprising, and how lucrative it was compared to some other options. It's like, why aren't more women doing this? Because I look around the room and there was no one else like me.
Totally.
And my mom is a CFO. So I had somebody as a woman in leadership to look up to.
Amazing.
I realized how few other women did. And that's when I decided my calling outside of work was I want other women to enter this field and get family sustaining jobs that they love, just like I did.
Yeah, that's incredible. And kudos to you on that. How do you apply that to your overall leadership style? How do you apply that to your team and your day-to-day?
So I'm always looking for opportunities for growth. My team's probably sick of it. Like, oh, what you could do better. So I got to couch that. But for me, I show up day to day as a coaching manager. I hope that I do.
Yeah.
And it's all about what's the opportunity in front of you? How can we do this in a new way? How can we do it in a better way? And especially when I'm hiring, I hire for potential as much as I do experience.
Okay, so walk me through that. I would say, based off everything I'm reading and people I'm talking to, the hiring for potential is not what it was in Zerpier, right? And there's lots of reasons of what has changed over the last couple of years, but it feels like entry level and taking a chance on people has kind of taken a step back, right? Because maybe a lot of factors that we can dive into. But for you, how do you interview for those types of skills, and what are you looking for?
So I've been lucky to have enough experience that I have hired people fresh out of college and seeing who's succeeded or not.
Yeah.
And I'm always curious how someone got into this field. And I find certain jobs do require a technical degree. I won't deny that.
Sure.
But the ones I've worked at don't. And the people who are most successful are the gregarious ones. Yeah. They've been in acting, they've been in sales, they're dancers, performers in some kind of way that have a brain or a passion or excitement about technology.
Yeah.
Because I can teach you the tech, I can't teach very easily the interpersonal skills.
Amazing. So when you're talking to someone who's maybe in dance or a teacher and they're looking to make that transition, how do you set expectations with them of like this journey that they're going to be on? Because a lot of it is challenge. And I think we know the success rate isn't always high, but it's worth doing because you find that superstar every once in a while, right?
So I'm always transparent and upfront. I probably try to talk people out of the job more than I try to sell them on the job. Because if they know what they're walking into and they still want it, that's a really good indicator. But as somebody entering the workforce, they're not gonna know. I think you'll have more success with somebody who's been in a role before. Like if they've been a teacher for a few years, what did you like about teaching? Oh, that's a transferable skill, or you're gonna keep doing that. So that does help. But usually if they're coming out of college, they've had an internship or some kind of a sales job, and you go, okay, what did you do? Let's talk about how that's similar or what you're gonna learn that's not.
Yeah.
But the key to success I found is a very clear, structured syllabus for ramp. I was missing that when I came out of college. I'm like, where's the finals, the midterms, the page I got from my instructor at the beginning telling me what success is? If I can be that kind of ramping manager, we're gonna have such a shorter ramp. We got ramped down to 4 months at Clary with a syllabus.
4 months. What was it prior?
12 months.
Wow. That's crazy. And I know that when I worked at Salesforce, it was typically 6 or 7 months before you get on calls. I talked to plenty of leaders who they put people on customer calls the first week they're on the job, right? And I have always disagreed with that strategy, right? Because I think you can set people behind and put them, behind the 8 ball, working their way up, right? So how do you balance the idea of giving people the opportunity, but also making sure they're structured so that their opportunity for success is higher?
Not everyone agrees with this, but I like a script, a demo script. Throw away the script after ramp, but give somebody something to anchor to. This is safe, to make them feel safe. Train them up on that. And I do believe you should be demoing your first week at a company internally.
Agreed.
And then as soon as possible, try to get them in the field. So if there's trade show season, try to hire before that, or kickoff or something like that where they can get in-person at-bats, safe at-bats. And then I also do this thing, I'm bringing it back for my team now, called Demo Dojo.
Okay.
So it's a regular call, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, where we take a bite-sized topic and we don't have a talking head, we practice it. Okay, here, I'm gonna give you what's the objection when it comes to security. How do we answer it? The scripted answer, break into teams of 3. Everyone practice for 30 minutes. We get back in the room and we all share what went well.
Wow. 1, I love that. And I want to dive into that. 2, I am famous for a concept called Demo-Rama that I created at Showpad, where I forced everyone to do pretty much a demo every single day of their first couple days, or first 30 days within the job, right? I found that the repetition and the low risk at bats make you more comfortable, put you on that customer call. So when you get an objection, you're not deer in the headlights and you know how to safely navigate it. So let me ask you that. Why are you doing the Demo Dojo, right? How is that applying to, more revenue or more win rates or more success for your team? And why are you introducing that concept?
So my new VP of sales, Jason Gorski, he and I had a sit down and he said, we need to stand out from the competition, not just for our technology, but how we show up. We need our demo to be memorable because we were so differentiated in how they got to experience the product. So we are actually doing two things this quarter. One, I'm enabling all the AEs to demo
Okay. Ooh,
for the
let's dive
first
into that.
time.
Yeah, let's dive into that too.
And then two, we're trying to come up with creative ways to bring a managed session forward to be the primary experience for demoing. Let hands-on keyboard, how can we do that as quick as possible?
Yeah. Okay. I love that because again, going back and forth, even as a CRO and someone who was, leading all of go-to-market in a demo proof of concept software, right? Everyone says the executives don't care about the demo. They care about the business problem, the outcomes that they're going to get. But for whatever reason, the demo still matters so much more than everything else, right? Trust Radius will show you that the demo is the preferred asset of purchase by like 78% of buyers, right? And so I'm not sure if you bought software recently, but everyone's pitch sounds the same. Everyone's product says that they do the same thing. And as a buyer, your head's just spinning. And so you're like, okay, who do I actually trust? I love this concept of managed sessions. So tell me a little bit more what it is and how it's made an impact on the business.
Yep. So we did only this at Clary.
Okay.
And what we did is we were an overlay on Salesforce. So they built the product really well in that it took 2 hours of setup time. So we would connect your Salesforce instance to Clary. It would suck in all your real data, and then I would demo your data back to you. And then I would give you a login for a week.
Wow.
And with whoever, maybe 10, we try to cap it to less than 10 people. And every day we had a check-in call, not office hours, but like, hey, today we're going to over this module, tomorrow this module. So I force them to get hands-on because I've bought software and I've done trials. You don't do the trial till the day it expires and then you don't test it.
Right. Totally.
So everybody's on for 30 minutes a day during the trial, testing it all together, hands-on, asking questions live. Then I capture their feedback in the moment. And we do an executive readout at the end.
Amazing.
And we say, John said this, Jane said that.
Yeah.
And here's your success criteria. We checked all the boxes. Maybe we'd send a survey to the users at the end. Did you feel we checked these boxes? And we read that back. So now we have the company selling it to themselves. And that's what I want to recreate over at Eightfold, because we have this new product that lends itself very well to that, which is our AI interviewer.
Okay.
So I could send you a link and you could interview for your job during my demo.
That's crazy. Yeah. That is crazy. And okay, that's another thing I want to dive into as well on the AI front. Are you able to share the win rates or the success rates or something that really was like, oh my gosh, this is working?
So we did it for every deal.
Okay.
When we started going down market more into the commercial space, we would just do the executive summary. We wouldn't let people get hands-on and run it for a week, but that still worked.
Yeah.
But the one takeaway, I remember I was in an elevator with a competitor after some event and he goes, oh man, you guys beat us every time you do that managed session thing.
Really?
Yeah, that was a differentiator that just convinced people.
Yeah.
And then other times because Clary will project where you're going to end your quarter, how much money you're going to earn.
Yeah.
I gave a demo. I took a screenshot of it that day because it does change every day. And the woman at the end of the quarter, I emailed her and I said, hey, this is what we projected you would land on. And I knew because I could log in. We were $300 off.
$300?
And we're talking millions of dollars. We're $300 off the day I happened to demo.
That is proof. That is proof.
She bought.
I believe that. Well, I think that's what's so interesting too, and I love that you shared that with me because it just seems like buyers are so skeptical right now, right? And when you can build a go-to-market motion that's their data and they can see what it's going to look like and feel like when they buy your product, there's less buyer remorse, right? That's a big aspect. And so I love that you're doing that, but there's another layer in there that is very intriguing, is that you're going to be enabling your account executives to do demos. Tell me more about the why on that.
Well, the why is we want to shorten our sales cycle and we want to give a great buying experience. And so who wants to sit through 3 calls before you could see a demo?
I agree.
We do have consensus, so we send videos, but a lot of times people just want to see their situation. They want to ask questions. They want hands-on. We do use a consensus trial feature, so they can click through, but it's just not the same experience.
Right.
So that's why we want to give a really high touch wow immediately and just beat out the competition from the get-go. So the AEs are going to do the first pass teaser demo.
Okay.
I think of them as movie trailers.
Okay.
To get someone to
Yeah.
want to come see
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
I'll make the movie. My team will make the movie.
I love that.
And then we'll earn the right to do a discovery, to make a really good movie,
Right.
give a full 1 hour, 2 hour demo.
Okay. So why was that initiative brought up? I assume it's Jason, right?
Right.
So Jason's talking about differentiating the experience. Was that something that he was very passionate about? And was there a reason there?
We want to improve our confidence as a sales team, confidence in our product, because it is fantastic. A lot of us can become jaded because we see the gaps every day.
Of course.
It could be better if it just did this.
Yeah.
So what better way to increase seller confidence than get them comfortable with the product themselves?
right.
It's not Salesforce or Clary where sellers use it every day,
Sure.
recruiters use it.
Sure.
So let's get the AEs in there every day so they can go, oh, you know what? Yeah, let me show you that thing. Because our best sellers have been there the longest and have been the most comfortable with the product. But most of our sales team is less than a year.
Okay. Wow. So have you thought about redoing the onboarding for the salespeople as well?
Probably, but I'm not involved in that.
Okay.
I'm taking on that role, and I'm going to be working with sales enablement for
Yeah.
this. But it's starting
Yeah.
with the scripts.
Yep.
What's a 2-minute bite-sized script for each module that we can train them on to deliver safely? We need a demo environment with non-PII,
Yep.
which is where Alto comes in. And then we also need an environment that's not constantly changing, but still has some roadmap items.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a coordinated effort with enablement.
Yeah, but I think it's the right move. You know, like I've always felt that as a buyer of software, if you show up with a salesperson who just, bants me to death and then hands me over to a solutions professional and you're delivering me no value, like I just don't want to talk to you in the sales process, right? So I've always made sure that our sellers at, my last company was, we have a point of view. We could be educated. We could build and gain credibility because your buyer already doesn't trust you. They're already skeptical about whatever you're going to say. So how do you show them that you're on their side of the table? And I think empowering them to be able to do demos or to do proof of concepts or whatever it means that will let them see you in a different light is super imperative. So last question on this for me is, was there intensive conversations internally about this type of decision? Because this, in my opinion, tends to be something that you get two wildly different camps. You're like, AEs are never demoing, and then like absolutely the AEs need the demo. I feel like there's never a middle ground. So was there a broader conversation as a business around this?
Not that I was involved in.
Okay.
This is an executive decision.
Yeah.
I fully support it because I've seen it work at Clary.
Sure.
I mean, we were selling to sellers, so it was a little different. But our product's not that complicated to use.
Right.
It shouldn't take a degree.
Right. Okay. And I think that's what's good too, because, you're selling to recruiting. It's not like you're selling to engineering or, the CTO or something along those lines where you do need a technical resource. And I think this is where I've just got a lot of, I don't know what the word is, but I think about the playbooks we've been running in the past. And someone may have came from a company and said, AEs, they don't demo, they never show the product. They're focused on pipe gen and forecasting. And that AE job is very hard, especially like as someone who has run an AE team now, like, wow, there's so many things we put on the account executive. But if they can't get in the room and build credibility with the buyer, you're dead in the water. And so I want to shift gears because, doing my homework, I learned about this AI co-pilot or this AI interviewer. So tell me about this product because to me, it sounds revolutionary in terms of the hiring process.
Yep. So Eightfold is an AI native application. We're the only one in HR tech that's AI first.
Okay.
And one of the ways we've been innovating lately is agents. And we're bringing agents to the recruiter to make their life easier.
Yeah.
All of us use ChatGPT to make our resume. We all look and sound the same. A lot of us use bots to go apply for us. There's 2,000 plus people applying for a job in a day. How does the recruiter know where to start?
Right.
So we started with machine learning, scoring people. So you might be a 4 out of 5, I might be a 4.5 out of 5.
Yep.
They'll stack rank and call those people. Not enough time in the day. So now we have an AI interviewer.
Wow.
You'll get an email saying, thank you for your application. Would you like to interview right now? And you click it. And you're on a phone call with an AI agent running through the interview, and it's dynamic based on your resume and the requirements of the job.
Wow. I mean, that is so revolutionary. It's like it feels so simple but revolutionary, right? And I've always felt the hiring and interview process is so broken. And then, one time, 10 years of my career, I was like, what kind of product could I create that's going to make this easier, right? And I obviously never spent any time there. But when I think about all the people I know trying to get jobs, applying for jobs, using bots to apply for jobs, and no one's getting a call back, I mean, it's soul crushing. I mean, it really is. And so if you get 2,000 applications for a job in a day, the recruiter's never gonna be able to get through all of those. But if the voice recognition can go and interview that person, I assume that it has two benefits, and you correct me if I'm wrong. The first one is for the interviewer. They're like, okay, I'm getting heard. I haven't just submitted my resume to the black hole and I never hear from 60% of companies, right? But two, you're all getting the insights to know who you should be talking to.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So for candidates, you can interview on a Sunday. We see Sundays really popular.
Wow.
Put the kids to bed.
Sure.
You're on camera just to prove you're you, but
Sure.
we're not really showing the video because we're not assessing your personality traits or how you show up. It's just what you say. And then we take all of that transcript and we advance your score. So maybe you were 4 before, but now you do really well in the interview. Now you're a 5 out of 5.
Wow.
And so we'll show the recruiter, hey, this person actually scored higher. Now you really need to call them.
Yeah.
And they'll have the full transcript, and there's a feedback form, just like you probably fill out as a hiring manager, how they score in these areas.
Yeah.
It will show you a recap of the answer and the scoring, so you can just jump to the parts you care about.
Okay, so this is multi-layer, right? So the application and the resume comes through. You score that based off the criteria. Does this mean that if they are just wildly unqualified, you're not giving them a voice interview, or is that customizable based off the company?
We don't decide. So there's actually some lawsuits going on right now in our space, not with us.
Yep.
We prefer human in the loop. We give you the information, but every company is different. Some people want to give everyone an equal chance, so they screen everyone.
Wow.
Other people are like, well, let's just cut to the chase. We're only going to call the top 10, so let's screen the top 10.
Wow.
But the takeaway for the audience today is every job is going to do this soon. It's not just the donut makers. It's not just the drivers or the Amazon warehouse people.
Yeah.
Our jobs, like executive roles, are going to be, we're already pitching this and people are already thinking about how do I screen? It's really popular in India right now, and then entry-level positions.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it's capable and it does a really good job at our level too. So everybody needs to get comfortable with interviewing with the bot.
So what advice do you have for people who are like, this is ridiculous, I want to talk to a human being, this is not good for society?
Well, with our technology, you can't opt out. I would not recommend you opt out.
Yeah.
Because you might be at a disadvantage of not getting additional score. You'll have to wait 2 weeks. Time kills all deals. Yep. I would suggest getting comfortable with it. There are several apps, probably free, I don't know for sure, that you can practice interviewing with an agent.
Smart.
So give it a shot. I
personally love it. And so if anyone disagrees, I just think that you're not thinking about this situation the right way, because if you look at our friends at Better Career, Eugene, Maddie, and the team, the advice they tell everyone is stand out. Like, the resume is so boring. You know what I mean? Like, how can a resume, if you've been working for a decade, 2 decades, do enough justice to get you an interview, right? And so Better Career tells people, create a video, right? Like, create something, then send it out. Create a portfolio so people can understand who you are. So to me, even if it's just a screen, I would much rather have the opportunity to give my point of view and to give my opinion on things versus just look at my static resume that ChatGPT helped me write.
It looks like everyone else.
Yeah, it's got plenty of M dashes and the same bullets, and it is so fascinating. So I guess the question that is lingering in my mind is executives, right? Because I think in a lot of my conversations, everyone's like AI bots, voice, AI coaching, entry level, early stage career, not for the senior executives. But based off what you just said, that doesn't sound correct. Like, it's coming for every role. Is that tell me why that is the future?
Well, I don't know exactly why. I'm not going to pretend I know why.
Sure.
I know because I sit in the kitchen. The CEO, the very first test they did was make me interview for my job, because he wanted to prove that it worked for him personally. So again, prove it works for me.
Wow.
So we started at the top and worked our way down as opposed to the other way. But if you think about it, we want to do more with less. That's why there's a big push for AI. That's why all these companies are adopting it. And it's not that AI is going to put the recruiter out of a job. It's
Right.
that the recruiter is going to do other high value things.
Totally.
And so if interviewing and scheduling interviews and feedback forms are low value, let's get that off your plate so
Yeah.
you can go work on sourcing that amazing
Sure.
executive or
Sure.
putting together the best package for them.
Yeah.
There's probably an AI solution for that out there somewhere. But like higher
Yeah.
value, meaningful work is
Right.
where people are going to transfer their attention to. And they might not need as many people in that team now. So
Right.
those people are freed up to go do other things that they might be good at.
Yeah.
I love that response. You know, I think one, AI human in the loop seems to be necessary, and AI agents are going to be part of our day-to-day life in software moving forward. You know, if you listen to plenty of really successful entrepreneurs, founders who've been part of, you know, the dot-com boom, you know, ZERP era, all these different things, everyone feels that this AI agent play is going to be revolutionary. Now, where it is on that stack is to be determined. But one of the things that I'm thinking about is that if I'm thinking about interviewing, this type of product seems that it will take away bias in the interview process. Do you have research or point of view there?
So it does. We do constant audits. I think it's every
Yeah.
2 weeks to make sure we're not introducing any bias
Yeah.
to the process.
Yeah.
So it's not any worse than human bias.
Sure.
But yes, if you're being assessed on your skills
Yeah.
and your potential, your transferable skills, not how you look or how you act or if someone
Sure.
likes you or you went to
Sure.
this cool school,
Yeah.
that's going to give everyone an equal playing field. So it actually works to both sides of the aisle. DEIB, it applies to them, and then merit-based hiring, it applies
Yeah.
to them too.
Love that. Okay, well, all this AI stuff is amazing. Like, I don't know about you, but I've just been inundating myself with it. But it's a little scary, right? It's a little scary. I mean, I think I'm seeing media posts about, you know, white collar jobs going away, AI replacing ABC role and go to market. So how do you as a leader show up every day knowing that there's so much noise about AI, but there's so much benefit that is potentially on the horizon?
I don't think that now is all that different to other moments in time. I think history repeats itself. So
That's
we were
true.
talking earlier about 08. Coworker of mine, I was not in the workforce at the time, but he was talking about the early 90s.
Yeah.
I think if we approach it with the mindset that this is not happening to me, it's happening for me.
Sure.
How can I turn this to my advantage? Where's the gift in this?
Yeah.
Those are the people that are going to succeed.
Yeah.
Like my daughter woke me up at 4 a.m. this morning. I could have been like, F this sucks, I'm tired.
Yeah.
But I said, oh my gosh, I got an extra hour today. How can I make the most of it?
Amazing. Well, it's about perspective. And I love that you shared that example because I think the positive, the perspective, trying to see the best in every situation is the way to go. I don't know that in the next couple of years, we're in a world where AI bots are buying and selling from AI bots, right? And the AI CEO exists. Like, I just don't necessarily see that accelerating as folks think, but I do see ways that our roles are going to be augmented. And if we think about the solutions engineering consulting function, it has been a pretty admin heavy role for a very long time, right? I think 2 years ago when I was doing research and doing some executive roundtables before I joined TestBox, I was interviewing people to find out what their teams were doing. And it was like 60 to 70% admin heavy. And so as a leader, right, I'm assuming you want to take those things off their plate so that they could be focused on getting better, you know, at their pitch and objection handling and being good in front of customers and obviously win rates and success for the overall business. But there are plenty of leaders who are pushing back on that mindset. So do you have any advice for those folks that are, you know, beyond the positivity, that are just sitting here and feeling the stress?
I'll quote a book title. The Obstacle is the Way.
Okay.
Great book. But it introduced me to stoicism. But if you think of that as like, how can I take this negative thing and
Yeah.
turn it into a positive, to like
Yeah.
judo it on itself? So for me personally, I feel the same. I'm not that technical. So
Right.
refiguring a demo is like my dreaded hour of the day. So we hired a demo engineer in India. He's an engineer.
Yep.
And he's building that demo environment that all the AEs are going to use and all the SCs are going to use.
Yeah.
And the goal there was to reduce the burden of developing demos by 50%.
Okay.
That's also
Wow.
why we bought Alto. It's
Yep.
also why we bought Consensus. We tried Reprise for a year for the same reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about alleviating, like we were saying earlier, that painful, low value part of your day so you can work on the high value things that are going to win you more deals.
Wow.
That's amazing to hear. I mean, have you achieved the milestones that you've set out with those initiatives?
Almost.
Yeah.
Alto, yes.
Yeah.
Alto and consensus, we've had home runs there.
Amazing.
Demo engineering, we're like 3 months behind, maybe more, depending on what milestone I put out there. But this quarter,
Yeah,
I'm
this is
saying
it.
it.
It's public now. It's public now.
This quarter, we will have a usable, secured, non-PII demo environment.
Okay, love it. I want to ask a couple final questions about, where the solution profession evolves and where potentially comes into. Do you have any point of view of what solutions consulting looks like 5 years from now?
I don't know if it's unique, but
Yeah.
solutions I see as the future.
Yeah.
To me, there's pre-sales, post-sales.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
We have so much crossover in our skill set.
Yeah.
It just makes sense that we merge again. I think we were one team before.
I agree.
And also, I was watching your show in preparation for this, and the guest was talking about the merging or crossing of sales and SC. I think the SCs are going to have to pick a side. We're going to go into CS world, or we're going to go into sales world.
Yep. Okay. You literally went to my next question, right? Because one of the things that I've been keeping my pulse on is a lot of solutions engineers are moving to the account executive side. And I think, and I'd love for your opinion on my point of view, is that with the world changing, AEs need to demo more. They need to be a little more technical. They need to be customer centric, customer savvy. You have AI products and tools that are helping build pipeline and do cadences. The role of the account executive is changing as well. And I think it bodes well for the solutions engineer and solutions consultants to take those types of roles and responsibilities. Am I biased because that's how my skill set and background is? Or is that something that is really happening?
I agree. We have that techie mindset that makes us want to learn more about the product. And I firmly believe the person who knows the most about the product will sell the most.
Sure.
So I think that's a natural fit. The only place that makes me pause is that last mile of a deal. The details, the paperwork, the negotiation, the hard disappointing yourself or your customer. I think emotionally, a lot of us can't handle that.
That is definitely fair. I'd love to throw a point of view at you and see what you think about it. My whole thought process is that frontline managers that are traditionally sales will handle more of that last mile when you have account executives that are from solutions backgrounds, right? Because the solutions engineer doesn't always understand what it's like to build pipe and to do a lot of outbounding and building demand. They know the middle of the funnel, and the end of the funnel isn't going to go away. It's going to be a more important part of their job. But if you have frontline managers that actually have that experience, they can step in and mitigate that risk. That's my point of view.
Yeah, when I was in inside sales, I was basically the SDR for the CEO. I'd get it to yes, and then he would come in and negotiate the contract and work out the details, and I just sat on the phone like, so this is Joe. So I personally have seen that work very well.
Yeah, okay. And then I love to hear that, and I think you're right. History is repeating itself. We're coming back to it. And so what does it mean to be a solutions professional with partnering with customer success? This is a hot button that I have is like, I don't always love the term customer success for a team. I think customer success should be a company-wide objective. And the idea of a team that isn't always technical and is, kind of cross between sales engineer / account manager / support is a really dangerous place in a business, right? So I think businesses need to make a choice of, are you account managers? Are you technical account managers? Are you have a solutions background? Or are you, more of a, what we would call general CS of, customer centric, somewhat support, first layer of support and a communication mechanism. Where do you think that kind of evolves with solutions?
The most successful customer success teams that I've seen do know the product very well.
Yes.
And they add value with every conversation.
100%.
A lot of the time we fall into the habit of being ticket pushers or reacting or let me just smooth that over. But if we're not showing up with like, hey, here's how much closer you are to your goal, or here's what I recommend for XYZ, that's going to be a really low value, high risk job for you if you're in that role. And as a buyer, I've had both CSMs and I prefer the ones who show up like, hey, let me show you this cool new thing someone else is doing.
Absolutely agree. I think that's the thing is every interaction you have with your buyer or your customer has to be of value. And that goes to the account executive, the solutions professional, the customer success professional. You have to always deliver value because we're all busy, we're all stressed, we're doing a million things. And most likely your product is not my number one and only priority, right? So, Diana, this has been so fun having a conversation today. I really appreciate you joining me. Loved hearing your perspective, loved hearing how AI is going to change hiring and sales and solutions professions. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.